Hello everybody and welcome to this extremely weird early morning Friday stream. Just getting set up here for a TSdL match between Katakuri and Will Underscore. This is actually the top 16 of TSdL Langrisser Season 12. So we've just been cracking right through the games. I know Sui streamed like 5 of them the other day, so there are a bunch if you're interested in watching replays. They're listed in the... I think it's just called Replays, the replay channel on TSdL Langrisser. So currently we're just waiting for Will to get logged in. He's just gotten logged in, and he and Katakuri are rolling their map and getting prepared for their match. So this is a great time for me to get prepared too, by posting my links everywhere. I'll be right back. Alright, that should do it for spam. Now let's head back to the channel and see how Will and Katakuri are progressing with their map prep. I think Will may have logged on a little bit late for this match. I know he had to run some errands or something in the morning. And he was getting back to his match basically as soon as he was finished dropping someone off. So hopefully that person was successfully dropped off and Will's ready for his match. I do see he's online now, so at least that's something. Hopefully he's not scrambling to re-roll some enchants before this match, but we'll see how it goes for Will. I'm interested in this one, and I thought some of my viewers might be interested in seeing this match as well, because Will fairly notoriously plays very bulky tank push / turtle box. So being able to see someone with some, you know, semi-invincible heroes in action, it'll be an opportunity to see a different kind of gameplay. Alright, it sounds like both players are ready. I didn't see the map roll yet, but maybe that happened in another channel. As soon as this match goes up, I'll share my screen here, and we will be able to jump right in and start with band pick. Welcome to the chat, Moondoggy. Something's happening. Definitely. Whether it be lengthy turtle battle in TSdL. I've seen or cast Katakuri's battles before, but I kind of forget the box he uses. I guess we'll get to see that in just a second, won't we? I'll just double check to make sure they have spectate on, because, oh, yep, there it is. Good, good, good. I don't need to pester them at all. And here we go. Okay, so we've got Will Underscore starting as player 1, and we're playing on the new Molten Core map. That'll be an interesting one. I haven't streamed this map yet either. So Will's Landius getting first banned, that will leave him with only Freya. Who else does he have as a tank? He's got a Lightbringer as well. So this is going to pressure Will to pick a tank early if he wants to get a tank. Tank ban early against a box like this is smart. And Will, of course, going for the Oboro first ban. He doesn't want to face... Oboro's a really strong anti-tank, anti-turtle unit. Because typically if you're playing a turtle box, and especially on this map, you're going to be moving a bit more slowly, engaging a bit more slowly. That gives Oboro time to charge up, and then once he's fully charged, he can basically ignore your guards. So Will going with that first pick Freya. Katakuri banning the Oboro, which is a smart move. Freya, as an early tank pick, she does faction buff Oboro, so that allows you to get Oboro into the action a little bit more quickly if you have his faction buff. And Oboro is just as strong in a turtle team as he is in an anti-turtle team, because if you're stalling back and wasting time, it also gives you time to charge up your own Oboro. So both Awakened ones also going down. What else does Will have in this box? He's got 3 more healers plus Agnes. He's also got Burn in the box. That's interesting. Probably pumped about the upcoming news for Burn SP coming in 5 or 6 months. But both players bringing out their Grenshiels. So with Katakuri's Oboro off the table, going with Grenshiel next as a first pick is a fairly standard option that you'll see people use against tank push and turtle teams. Because Grenshiel punishes bad positioning, or at least opening up of the positioning. If she can plant a sword next to one of your tanks, then she can potentially kill someone. So a good option for anti-tank. Will also has Ultimuller in this box. Goes nice alongside Grenshiel because it gives him that faction buff for free and allows him to bring his full slate of other skills. McLean, of course, is a strategic master as well. Okay, so Katakuri, let's actually take a look at his box for a second. I haven't had a chance because ban pick got started right as we got underway here. But it looks like he's running pretty much a 1-tank box with just the Lightbringer and probably just the Sissy for his healer. So a pretty aggressive box. Not necessarily rush, but certainly a good DPS trade down box. He does have Kyra in here as well if he needs a little bit of defensive healing for someone coming in and AoEing the team. But Sissy is a pretty standard DPS-focused healer because she has the Act Again option. She also can summon a tank, a temporary tank if she needs to. She can also enable, you know, units like Gintoki. So one interesting thing to see here with Will with all these healers in the box is he's not pressured to pick one right away, right? You'll often see turtle players trying to make sure that they get their Rosen and their tank right away, but not being forced to do that has allowed Will to secure a tank and then pick a couple strong DPS. So he will be able to kind of play that DPS engagement game with Katakuri. 3 straight Strategic Master DPS. Hopefully Lonebird's in here watching. Yeah, and Will banning out that Gintoki immediately as soon as he sees the Sissy come out. Still lots of strong DPS options for Katakuri, as well as a couple guard-ignoring units. So he does have the Grenshiel here to mess with Will's guard if he does open up space next to his tank. He also has Lostum, who's actually really good on this map because there's a lot of gross, like, rocky terrain that he can grab onto. A good guard ignore option there, and McLean, of course, a good guard ignore option as well. He can keep getting his assassination skill up relatively quickly. Okay, and Will is going for the last pick, Elma. And leaving open that tank option, that Lightbringer for Katakuri to pick 5th. So interestingly, this does leave both players with the Grenshiel and the McLean as their DPS options. The main DPS difference is the Lostem versus the Ultimuller here. And then they each have a tank and they each have a healer. So both players ending up with, after that kind of twisted and turned ban pick, fairly similar teams. Elma much more of a pure healer on Will's side. The Freya not a super threat to Katakuri's DPS. The Grenshiel will typically be immune to her fixed damage bursts, and the Lostem and McLean are not going to be really possessed with attacking the Freya. They're going to be trying to snipe the units around Freya. Ultimuller can also be surprisingly hard to kill. So we'll see if we get like a Dark Elf Sniper's Slayer's Emblem Lostem in here trying to kill him. I know that's how you kill Tristan's Ultimuller, at least. Tristan's still on vacation. He's at the theme parks in Florida, I think, until tomorrow at least, so I can throw a little shade at him during this stream and he probably won't notice. Unless he watches the replay, oh no. Oh well, if he watches the replay, maybe he can see how to play Ultimuller. AJ, welcome to the stream. I'm doing alright, how are you? Alright, let's take a look at what we got. We do have Ultimuller here rocking Phalanx, so he's not on a flying troop. He didn't go with the War Falcons. He wants to get some of that damage reduction. We got McLean with Pirates. We got Grenshiel with the Duelists. Interesting pick, but it looks like it's going to go nicely against the Phalanxes. Fairly standard looking Freya here. So we do have the Dark Elf Snipers on this Lostem. Okay, and this Sissy brings Inspire. Sometimes you'll see... what's the other skill called, where she just fires your troops? And we're going with the Magic Glacial Elemental troops on this McLean for Katakuri. Okay, so Will brings Frontal Assault on his Grenshiel as well, and Katakuri with Air Slash on his. Dismiss, yes thank you, Moondoggy. As soon as I dropped Sissy from the box, I forgot everything about her. It's a shame. So I think I've played only 1 or 2 matches. I think 2 matches on this lava map. And obviously that speaks a lot more to the fact that I don't play tons of Apex volume-wise. First match I ever played was during my TSdL game against Leo Smart. So I was basically learning the map live in a sense. Feels a little slow, it feels a little clunky, but that's the point. You've got lots of nice impassable tiles here. Although it's worth noting that this is Abyss tile, so this is essentially sky tile, not like column tiles. So Lostem can pull himself through these. If he has the range to. Maybe he can't reach far enough. But like, you can fly over those. There's some rocky terrain up here as well. So, and obviously, I mean, that's not even mentioning the magma tiles in the middle, where you take fixed damage if you're ending your turn on those. So it's an interesting kind of cluster of a map where approach is something that you have to take into consideration. One thing about Elma on Will's side is that she can be surprisingly hard to kill. Especially if this Lostum is on Slayers and Dark Elf Snipers, built more for killing Flyers rather than Shrine Maidens. The McLean, though, can still be dangerous to Shrine Maiden healers. The other thing is, the Altmuller and the McLean are very bulky. I mean, they're Will's units, so we take for granted that they're bulky anyway, but, like, McLean has access to a revive. So it could be difficult even for Katakuri's one-off sniping units to snipe through those. If that gives Will the opportunity to recover and then snipe one of Katakuri's important DPS, then he could have a leg up. So there's the faction buff for Grenshiel, Ultimuller, and McLean. So Dragon Dance has 2 rings. Gonna be looking for a good opportunity to do the big suck if it presents itself. Although with Lightbringer here and the Lancer, won't be that easy. On Will's McLean? Not Spirit Boots? What do you think Will puts on his McLean if not Spirit Boots? I suppose we could check, but that takes away half the fun. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a standoff back here. Will has to decide how he wants to begin approaching here. Yeah, that wouldn't be a surprising pick, Moondoggy. Alright, Will starts off by closing off the gap in front of Freya. That means the Grenshiel's not going to be able to plant her Gren Sword and turn off the tank. But it also means that Will's basically committing to not moving Freya up this turn unless he wants to open her up. I guess he could move her after Katakuri uses his Grenshiel. Okay, and we have Katakuri freezing his tank in place as well, so this might be a little bit of a standoff turn, prodding for openings. Fog closes in relatively quickly on this map as well. You really start to feel the pressure from all that terrain in the middle. Lostum would be able to come in here and attempt to snipe if he wanted to. Will, to be honest, kind of inviting that. But we'll see later on in this turn if Katakuri wants to take that opportunity. Yeah, to be honest, Moondoggy, I have a feeling he fails kill regardless. I mean, Will very intentionally not bringing flying troops on either of these units. Plus the way these guys are built. Ulti hasn't had a chance to really stack up too many of his talent stacks yet, though. Tree of Life. Interesting. That must be a Tree of Life Freya? I don't think he has tree. No. I don't think he has tree on his Elma. I think it must be on the Freya. Could be wrong, but that's a classic Will Underscore move. Will burning a little bit of backup time there to figure out this Ultimuller positioning. That's mainly to get him on terrain. But it does allow a snipe engagement from... Well, maybe not. I wonder if Will's inviting the attempt on Ultimuller here. I know the primary goal is the terrain, but maybe the secondary goal is... slight temptation. Gren Shield down here. Shouldn't be able to reach that square currently with her Gren Shield. But this may also prompt her to move in a little bit as well to try to get positioning for Gren Shielding next turn. I don't think Will leave it open. We still haven't seen Elma's Candle come out, which is an excellent tank tile blocker if need be. Okay, and Will dipping into his backup time here a little bit more this turn. This feels like the crux turn for Will because he does have a couple threats on his doorstep, and basically anything that he moves is potentially going to be met with some aggression. So he kind of needs to be careful and basically decide what he wants to see Katakuri's opener be. Okay, McLean trying to cool down the area with some water. Nice splash on Katakuri's full team, remembering that Sissy's not a very strong anti-AoE healer. So putting out a bunch of damage like that does pressure Sissy to keep up with the healing. It also puts McLean way out front, and it does open things up for this Gren Shield to engage. Do I think Lance or Dragon Oboro is better overall? I think it's a pretty fine line. It really depends on what kind of enchants you have. Dragon's probably the more general-purpose, user-friendly unit. Lance, I think, requires a little bit more intensive enchanting, but assuming everything is perfect for you, like assuming you have the best enchants that you can get on him, I do like Lance. Mine's Lance, and I have pretty good enchants on him. But you need to be able to enchant... Yeah, so Will opens up that slot for this Gren Shield. In she comes. She's got her Gren Shield now. So the question is... Oh, interesting. A little trick from Will with guarding on Ultimuller. Gren comes in, disables the Freya, and tries to take out the Gren, but Ultimuller's protecting it. Sneaky, sneaky trick. Gren was really the only option for Gren to try to kill. But Will has taken that off the table now. Like I said before, though, once Katakuri starts engaging, it's one thing for Will to be able to survive the initial onslaught, but he needs to be able to recover from it as well. So Will's Ultimuller is now definitely in danger of being taken out by this Lostum. But if it ends up being a trade of Ultimuller for Katakuri's Gren Shield, that's a pretty decent trade for Will. Is Elma going to heal this back to full? I don't even have Elma built, so I don't know what her... I know she's like a really strong pure healer. Okay, the candle comes out up front. Not quite full. Not quite full. How far is Lostum's hook? Oh, he's just going to stick with the Gren Shield plan. That, to me, was basically just a I want to use my Lostum for something play. Stunning Gren Shield is good, though. It does take away one of the threats to Katakuri's engaged Gren Shield here. But Lostum left with no hook for this turn and just his guard ignore. Alright, let's see how Will climbs back on top of this one now. Katakuri has basically shown his hand. He's engaged. Ultimuller, not back to full yet. Gren Shield stunned, but he's back in decent shape. He still has a fully stacked up McLean here with his assassination skill at the ready. Okay, that's a fun little move. Elma pulling Freya away from the Gren Shield. Gets her guard back up without her having to use her action. Gets a little incidental healing on this Gren Shield, but she's still stunned. So sadly, what Gren Shield has access to here now is basically just, yeah, running away. An air slash on a full team of guarded units. Live to fight another day. She's down for several turns now, though. Will's still in great shape. He's got this big, thick McLean out front here on water, so he doesn't need to worry. And Will with a fairly unlikely AoE box here, still pushing the pain over to Katakuri's team. Katakuri at least has Inspire left for area healing here. But the way things are now, with Gren's skills down, lost him mostly down, he basically has to walk into Will's ready team with injured units. Definitely not looking great for Katakuri. Will's going to be looking for a kill here soon to refresh that Strategic Master's faction buff. Fortunately, all of his DPS are Strategic Masters, so anyone he manages to get a kill with will turn it back on. Okay, McLean going for the Gren shield, killing her through her shield. Splashing a little more water damage over here. McLean just brazenly hanging out front. Got that faction buff rebuffed nicely. I mean, Lostum's not going to kill this. Okay, here's the act again on this Lostum. So he does have his hook back up for a move this turn. This looks like he's just going to be trying to chip the McLean. Yeah, that doesn't kill the McLean. The McLean can now probably kill the first life of the McLean. That seems like a lot of wrangling. I say probably, I mean this is definitely going to kill the first life. There's a lot of wrangling for one life off McLean. Lostum's 3C is back. No hook till next turn. McLean's assassination skill is down. So McLean able to get back up under guard here, also get some healing from his bonnet. And throw out some more area damage. Will only with 7 seconds of backup time left, that's interesting. I suppose Katakuri's getting low as well. Will definitely doesn't need to be as careful about clustering around his tank anymore with Gren Shield off the board. All he's thinking about is these guard ignores. He'll be looking for a chance eventually to engage with his own Grenshiel here. She's not flying, but that doesn't really matter. Will's being patient with her. So Will definitely has the tools to, for example, get rid of Lostom next turn. McLean's assassination skill is back. He's back, healthy again. He doesn't have his revive, but he's definitely able to kill something. The unit on Will's side who's most at risk of McLean actually being able to kill is the Grenshiel. Okay, so Katakuri is doing exactly that, trying to protect his Lostom from getting picked off right away here. But that's kind of the low-hanging fruit for Will's team. We'll see if Will's going to be able to set up his walking Grenshiel to be able to do anything. So both of these tanks are Grenshieldable, but Katakuri has created kind of a little wall of units. Lostom and Sissy are hard to reach. Alright, Lostom's coming in. He may be making an attempt... Okay, he's going to make an attempt on the healer. He does kill the Elma. Interesting. Well, with no healing now and no backup time, essentially, pressure's on Will to make his move here within the next couple turns. Will freezes the Lancer. Probably hoping for more ice on the map than that. But happy to just throw out some more AoE damage here this turn. Katakuri with the fog at his back. Will's definitely going to be looking to take this Lostom out as soon as he can. I don't think Ultimuller can reach to get into a position to... Actually... No, that's Abyss, so he can't walk there. So no good suck yet. Will does have Katakuri kind of cornered against the fog. Will's got a good position in the center here. He's also probably ahead in damage. Both players now almost completely out of backup time. But we'll see if Katakuri is going to be able to sustain long enough to start putting damage on Will that he can't heal back from. Right now, Will's tank is iced. And that's a bit more of an important tank on Will's side. Now, bear in mind, this Ultimuller is still guarding, so he'll be able to take a hit if, for example, Lostom tries to do something with his 3C here. Balti survives it, but he is stunned. Katakuri's follow-up is just assassination skill with McLean anyway, so the tank wasn't that important. Who can you reach, though, McLean? You can really only reach this McLean. Alright, is this Will's chance? Is he going to get this lost him off the board now? Easily. Now remember, this McLean doesn't have his revive anymore. So Katakuri chipping it down. He can't get across this abyss with his own McLean though, so he can't reach it to finish it off completely. Unless we see another act again or something like that from Sissy. Alright. There is both of Katakuri's tanks shut down now. What's your play though, Grenshiel? Okay, just a frontal assault on Lightbringer. With Fog rolling in this turn and this Grenshield there, that's going to make things tricky for Lightbringer's first life. Will is also creating a wall of strong units here. Sissy using desperate measures on Lightbringer, probably just to get her away from that sword this turn, but the thing is, she still has nowhere to go. Unless she's able to kill McLean. Fog's still coming and she can't move out. She can move here. Both players with 2 seconds of backup time left. So she does kill the McLean. And she's far enough away from the Gren shield that she's going to be able to move out here unless Will blocks it. Oh, Will can't do that yet. Okay, so Lightbringer on the move. We're potentially going to have a Katakuri Lightbringer carry attempt. I mean, his McLean is still down here. He still has his Act Again skill. I think he still has his revive available as well once he gets on water. Okay, Will figures the time is now to try a suck and see what he can get. Basically, all that does is pull Katakuri's units closer to the center of the map. Okay, things not looking great here for Will now. Basically, all he has is an Ultimuller, a tank, and a candle. Was not able to successfully keep Katakuri out of mid. He doesn't have a healer, so it's going to be difficult for him to maintain his damage advantage as well. Lightbringer can do a lot of heavy lifting with her discipline, you know, even if she doesn't have Sissy around for too much longer. But Will doesn't really have a way to kill that Sissy either. So I think once Katakuri loops his McLean in, then that's going to put him in a much better position. Yeah, Sissy getting fogged I think is fine though, Ragnaros, just because Katakuri now has his actual DPS in decent position here, although he is eating tons of chip damage from that Freya. Ulti barely survives. I think Lightbringer is going to be able to sustain... Well, then again, Will does have a decent damage lead, too. So Katakuri's probably going to have to kill that Freya. That said, even though Freya does put out a lot of fixed damage, she won't be too difficult for Katakuri to kill as long as he has enough turns, and he does. He's still got like 4 turns to just paste damage into her. Remember, the candle's going to be dying in fog as well. So Sissy gets to live another day. That alone right there should be enough to put Katakuri in a good enough condition to finish this match. Lightbringer and a McLean with a revive should be able to slowly but surely chip Will's remaining units down. Discipline is back. McLean just happily eating the fixed damage to do anything here. Ulti really got nothing. Sissy with a noble sacrifice of giving 100% health McLean his turn again, with his assassination skill locked and loaded. I mean, Ulti's still putting out damage. I think Will really has to just hope that he can survive. But that was Ulti's final turn, I believe. And I honestly don't see this Freya surviving like 3 more turns versus this assault. Yeah, no. Excuse me. Okay, so that's game 1 in Katakuri's favor. Will, in my opinion, with the upper hand for most of that match, until things started to get real down and dirty in the middle with the fog closing in. Just unable to really finish Katakuri off, and he was able to scramble back into the middle with a little help from Altemuller, and re-establish a decent position there to wait Will out. So let's see what's going to happen in game 2. Okay, Will taking player 1 again as the non-winner of the first match. This time we're on Windy Outpost, which is a completely different kind of map from the Magma map. A little bit of a faster map, lots of nice terrain in the middle to help people like Lostum traverse quickly, to help people like Leon traverse quickly. The Leons didn't get any play last game, but we'll see if they try to prioritize getting them out a little bit earlier this game. But first, let's see if either player wants to make any adjustments from the side box. I don't expect anything too dramatic, mainly because both players, player 1 and player 2, same as they were in the first game. So positionally, no super advantage to changing units. But based on how the play went in the first game, they may want to make a couple tweaks. We'll see here in a few seconds. Very interested to see what Bernhardt's doing here in Will's box. Okay, so Will is going for a couple changes. He's dropping the Z2, dropping the Ultimuller, and dropping the Elma. Bringing up Sophia, so he thinks Sophia's going to be a bit of a better healer option. He's also bringing up Archon and Kagura. Archon, a real strong DPS pick for Will here, because he knows that Katakuri doesn't have Hilda, much less, you know, many tanks at all. So Archon is going to give Will a little bit more of a rangy engagement option in case he needs it. Kagura as well is another one of those rangy DPS. Still first banning the Oboro though, so it's not like he plans to completely abandon his overall strategy. First picking Lightbringer this time instead of Freya. Overall, I think I like Lightbringer a little more than Freya anyway. And Katakuri, unsurprisingly, going for the first pick Grenshiel again, hoping to get a little bit better use out of her than he did in Game 1. So he's going to have to watch for a sneaky secondary tank from Will. That was kind of what trapped his Grenshiel in Game 1. That said, there's no... I mean, I guess Burn could potentially be a sneaky secondary tank. Freya would be a tank, but not very sneaky. So Will second picking Grenshiel again as well. Pick and ban going very similar to how it did in the first game. The only difference is that Will's selection of units is different. Cobra, welcome to the chat. Just in time for the start of Game 2. I honestly don't think Will needs to change his overall approach too much from Game 1. I mean, he had a good idea throughout the start of most of the match of just plastering as much range AoE damage as he could on Katakuri while they were engaging, knowing that Kata was a little weaker on healing. Ultimuller was a bit too defensive of a pick, like he really didn't have any kill potential, and even, especially on that lava map, the suck really wasn't working for him. But Will has addressed that in this pick and ban already by bringing up some more offensive units. Archon banned, Kagura still on the field. Or still in the box as a potential option. Will going with McLean again though. I'd like to see Kagura, Burn, or Agnes come out for Will. Well, there goes two of those options. And Katakuri bringing his McLean as well, so we're going to have some tile wars. There's a nice big open map for tile wars. Would not be surprised to see Kagura come out now as the last remaining DPS. Yep, there she is. And then that gives Will his, well, whatever choice of healer Katakuri wants to give him, but I think Will would be fine with any of these healers, to be honest. And again, just by the nature of his box, Katakuri still has lots of scary DPS remaining. He's got his own Archon, who's definitely relatively scary for Will. Leon is definitely scary here. And he can throw some tile havoc into the mix, although, I mean, Leon and McLean kind of don't synergize super well. Will still doesn't want to face it. But D-Heart and Epsilon are both assassins as well, so more options for Katakuri to get through Will's defensive positioning. Will's going to have Rosen as his tank. Not tank, obviously healer. I don't think anyone who's watching a Kong Langrisser stream would be deceived into thinking that Rosen is a tank. Hopefully not, though. If there are any beginners out there who just started the game for the collab and just summoned Rosenseal, don't build her and use her as your tank. Okay, so Katakuri opts for the Epsilon as his assassin of choice. Yes, this is top 16. Yep, top 32 ended. Top 16 has begun. I'm not sure how many of the top 16 matches have already taken place. Like I mentioned, I did notice that Sui streamed a bunch of matches a couple days ago, but I'm not sure if those were top 16 matches or the tail end of the top 32. But the replays are all posted in the TSdL Langrisser server, so if you're not already on the server, Straw or someone I'm sure can post an invite in the chat. Otherwise, I will post one in the description of this video once the VOD goes up. So if you want to check back here, you'll be able to grab the link, join the server, check out replays. Maybe do some scrims for yourself with some of the PvP-focused people in there. It's definitely worth joining that server even if you're not participating in the tournament. It's a really good PvP resource in general. Lots of good players there. And it can help you improve your game if you're just getting into Apex Arena. Okay, so both players just getting to the end of their time for skill and positioning setup. Hopefully no one timed out. Alright, we got Phalanx on this Lightbringer. With Holy Shield Bash! Will potentially looking for a late-game Lightbringer carry in the middle of the map. It's a Lancer Kagura, not a Cav. And he's got Frontal Assault on his Gren Shield again, so he's got 2 Frontal Assaults up his sleeve. So we do have Stealth on this Epsilon. Nothing too surprising otherwise. We've still got the same Gren Shield, same McLean, standard Archon here. Archon and McLean both, of course, faction buffed by the Gren Shield, so Katakuri's in a good position for buffs. Epsilon has to bring his own. So he's just got the 3C and Stealth. And I guess McLean's the only AoE on Will's side, so that Stealth could work out decent for Katakuri. Be very interested to see how this Lancer Kagura works out for Will. Assuming he's able to close the gap here without getting yoinked by Archon. Yeah, he may decide to stack up behind his Lightbringer. But I don't see Will's Rosenseal having electric headgear. Maybe she does. Typically, that's the go-to helm choice for turtles. For precisely this kind of situation. If you're turtling, you never want to be pulled out of position. I mean, I keep saying turtle in regards to Will, but he's clearly not really playing turtle these past couple matches. Turtle's more like 2 tanks, 2 healers kind of setup. Will's getting his fair share of DPS. It's more of a tank push box. 1 tank, 1 healer, and the requisite DPS. Best not get those confused. Right, I didn't see an electric proc there. Just for our own interest. Can't believe game 1 took an hour. Although I guess it went to like turn 10 and both players had used all their backup time. This one probably shouldn't last as long. So Grenshield can drop her Grenshield on this Lightbringer, but then the question is, what can she actually do after that? She'd be able to Air Slash. Air Slash is not killing Shrine Maiden's Rosenseal. Right, catches a breeze on this McLean. So he'll be able to move in and make an assassination attempt next turn as well. Everyone here's under guard from this Lancer, so the Kagura is not going to be able to get the jump on Katakuri at the start of next turn. As long as he's careful with his Gren Shield positioning. Right, that's the thing, Cobra. It's one thing for Katakuri to be able to get in and reach these units, but they are Will Bulk Lord units, so it's not like he's going to be able to just run in one shot. McLean's got a pretty strong assassination, though. I mean, the Archon still can't really do anything. He can't reach to pull anything. Katakuri really trying to decide what to do with this Gren Shield here now. I don't think he wants to go in with her shield this turn. Because, like I said, what does he do? Does he air slash the Rosen or air slash the Kagura and then Will just kills it at the start of his turn? Okay, so he just moves up, he stays in guard range, gives himself a little bit of better positioning, gets that faction buff off, and he's going to see if he can open against Will this turn. Sissy does have her Act Again available. Epsilon, no stacks, of course, so his 3C is a DPS, but not exactly super threatening for Will quite yet. So Will basically staring down the barrel of this, knowing that they can come in if they want to, and he has to decide what he wants to do about that. I guess the McLean could try to take a pick at this Gren Shield. He's buffed. That's kind of Will's only offensive option. Everything else is covered by the Lancer. He's not going to try something that reckless. Not yet, anyway. Katakuri's Gren Shield not quite as bulky as Will's. Will not tipping his hand yet by starting with the healer and the tank. That's typically good strategy. Use up the actions for the units who aren't going to be doing anything important first. So now Will's down to his DPS. Still with 2 active DPS and an act again on Katakuri's side, so he knows if he goes in right now, he's definitely going to get traded. This is kind of a fun standoff because the zoning units are the same on both sides. We've got the Grenshiel and the McLean. Okay, so no act again this turn. No need to yet. So all of Will's units are now under threat from this Grenshiel. If she decides to pull the trigger this turn. Threat in quotation marks. Okay, so it looks like Will is going to go in for the attempt on Katakuri's Grenshiel. She doesn't have terrain or any real helpful defensive auras here. Time's ticking, Will. This is not a good place to use your backup time when you've already committed to an action. Here he goes. Oh, just barely unable to secure the kill there. It was probably worth trying. I mean, Will was in a tight spot. If he didn't try that, Katakuri was coming into him this turn or next turn. It was actually pretty close. I'm not sure about these pirate troops there. Yeah, with the glacials, I think that would have killed. Yeah. I mean, we saw Will using the pirates in the last game as well, so I think the rationale has to just be that knowing that there's going to be water all over the map, you're hoping to get some benefit from them in that sense. Okay, it does prompt Katakuri to use his own McLean assassination skill on Will's McLean, which does pound out a lot of damage, but doesn't net the first kill. Alright, moving in there with Grenshiel, not a bad play because Will knows that he has turn priority next turn, so getting that tank down with both of your DPS in position here against a Grenshiel that is hurt enough now that it looks like she's going to be unlikely to do any major damage here. Will's going to be able to open up the next turn by killing something that he wants to kill. That said, Katakuri's McLean has a revive, the Archon has a revive. Epsilon is currently shielded. So let's see what Will decides to do here. Probably smartest to open with Grenshiel there, because if she gets killed, she's off the board. McLean at least has a revive. This McLean doesn't have his full DPS skill yet, but he might be able to clean up a kill on McLean if he wants to combo that McLean down. Archon can only reach these front units. Epsilon is shielded, but he only has 2 stacks right now. Alright, he's gonna go with Epsilon. Yeah, like I said, that McLean was weak enough that one of those units could clean it up. Now they just have to deal with the second life. Archon can easily take the second life. But Will's gonna have a chance to do something with his McLean first. Although he doesn't have his assassination skill up either. Alright, he's just gonna run back, throw some AoE. This will force Katakuri to close ground with the rest of Will's team if he wants to try to follow up on this McLean. I mean, I guess he can just pull it too. But he's back to 100% health and he's in water, so... McLean just opting to bunch up and hide for now. So both players kind of semi-resetting a little bit here. That said, Kagura can still get in if she wants to. Same with this Archon. Grenshiel, not a super priority kill, even though she's low-hanging fruit way out here in front of Katakuri's team. Her skills are off for a couple turns. Oh, but Katakuri's, it looks like, just going to burn the AA and have McLean finish off this Grenshiel while he has the time and the opportunity to do that. That's fine too. Will loading up for another assault next turn. So he does have his assassination skill on McLean now, but no move again. So he won't necessarily be able to reach any of Katakuri's units. Alright, and Archon is going to make his move after all. I mean, this is a bulky McLean. No, he gets him, though. He gets him easily. Okay, so Will is down to tank and healer combo with Kagura against 2 assassins. The Archon and the McLean Both have their revive. So let's see what this Kagura can do. Nothing. Was that the wrong skill? I know she has an act again. Damn. That's the backup time debuff in action there. Both players looking at big flashing numbers on their screen really puts the pressure on. When you got a couple skills that look the same, if you're not used to using a lot of Kagura, I can see that happening for sure. Okay, Epsilon now aggressively postures. He's got that stealth on. Will's McLean is dead, so he doesn't have a way to AoE him out of that shield. Epsilon's going to be able to attack whoever he wants. That said, he's going to need to rebuff here. He doesn't have his 3C up yet. The good news for Will is he now has an opportunity to use Kagura again here and see if he can do something. She doesn't ignore guard, though, and everyone's under guard from this Lancer now, so if he does want to use Kagura, it's basically just going to be popping this. Okay, Katakuri getting that buff back off. Epsilon's 3C is back, so he's fully loaded now. In fact, everyone's fully loaded. This is looking rough for Will. Alright, Will's basically going to have no hope but to try to pop that Lancer first, potentially with Lightbringer. And then do something with Kagura. McLean doesn't have his revive up right now. Wow, that Rosen survives. Quite nice. Lightbringer's going to be coming in here soon, but, I mean, we've also got two assassins here ready to finish that Rosen off. So there she goes. That's Epsilon's 3C down for another couple turns, but he's shielded back up again. Lancer's still in play. There's the skill Will was looking for before. Full blast, full frontal assault on this Lancer. Probably a normal attack would have killed that, I would think. Kagura barely survives this McLean. Sissy's probably going to kill it. Yeah, and that's the end of game 2. So a couple of very different games. The first game was a pretty good standoff, like a little bit of a stall out on the magma map, where both players kind of stared across the lava at each other until things finally started to get really heated in the end. In this game, both players kind of zoned each other with similar units, and Will was just not able to make an assault work. Katakuri had himself lined up quite nicely to be able to take out Will's units as they came in. And congrats on the victory to Katakuri, moving on to the top 8. Will Underscore making it to the top 16. Definitely an accomplishment to be proud of, so thank you to both players for putting on a good show for us and for joining Summit der Langrisser this season. Yeah, so stay tuned for more coverage. We're going to have more top 16 matches coming up. There's a lot of matches this weekend, actually. Most of them, I think, are happening tomorrow. Maybe some on Sunday. And then beyond that, some more top 8 in the future. So thanks for coming out. Thanks for supporting your favorite players. And I will catch you in the next stream, everyone. Thank you so much. Happy Langrissing, everyone.